Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to the fifth episode of Mitts Talks. So this week, change of scenery. We're all about being mobile here, guys. We evolve immediately. So this week, I wanted to talk to you guys about the nutrition plan that I've been on that helped me reach my fitness goals. So back in January of this year, I had a friend recommend a program that he was on that pretty much taught the education of nutrition and kind of like really the mindset to understand some of the things that you're putting in your body and kind of calling out some of the things that claim to be healthy, but they're not. I actually like the way they title it, called phony baloney. So back in January, I was working out a lot, but I wasn't seeing a lot of change. I did touch on a lot of this when I was talking about finding the missing piece of the puzzle. So I weighed myself after my friends told me about this program. The program is called OMADA, OMADA. So I got an OMADA. Basically, it's a $650 program that my employer ended up paying as long as you ended up hitting three different key zones, which was if your family has a history of diabetes, if your family has a history of heart risk, and finally, if you're struggling with your weight. I unfortunately kind of fell with that weight part, but my family did actually have a history of those things. So I get on this program, and what ends up happening is that they tell me, all right, we're going to send you a scale. We want you to weigh yourself every single day. I've been doing it for 39 weeks, pretty much 99% of the time. Even when I travel, I take the scale with me. And then the other part was they sent me a lesson plan every week, and they pretty much just educated me on nutrition, the basics of nutrition. Now, again, I'm not a nutritionist. A lot of the individuals in this program were like more health coaches, but it really changed the game for me, right? Because I worked out a lot, as I touched on that before, and I wasn't seeing a lot of the change. The nutrition part was the missing piece of the puzzle. So you've heard a lot of people talk about it. It's 80-20. It truly is 80-20. It's 80% eating right, 20% working out. I didn't even think I had bad eating habits, and I didn't see the change for all the aggressive working out I was doing. The second I cleaned up my eating and understanding of what the basic nutrition is, it changed the game for me. Completely changed the game for me. So again, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm going to kind of just go over a couple of points that I kind of learned going in OMADA or while being part of OMADA. But I definitely encourage you, if you think this is beneficial, try to find a nutritionist to kind of help you out on your journey. If you know someone, definitely reach out. At the same time, if you have any additional questions or want to go more in depth about what I've done with my nutrition and what I continue to do, let me know. I definitely would be love to be able to provide more insight. So how many of us turn around and buy food and don't understand the nutrition in the back? We don't understand when it says, do you take the time to pay attention to the serving sizes, the amount of calories, the sodium, the trans fat, the sugar, the additional sugar? Do we take into consideration these things? And that's what OMADA really kind of helped me out with. It really let me know about like, what is the sugar doing, and then what does it mean when it's added sugar? And then all that sugar goes to the waistline. That goes to the waistline. So, that's one of the things you have to take into consideration. Carbs, and the simplicity of it all too is if you're putting more in versus burning it, that's turning into fat. That's just calorie deficiency. That's where you really want to think about that. So I started paying attention to sodium, mainly because of the fact that my family does have a high history of diabetes. So I wanted to make sure I pay attention to that. Also, high sodium does obviously can affect you down the road to having strokes and heart problems. So, I do know that you're not supposed to, it's not recommended to consume more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day. But then, I recently shared on my Instagram, you go to these locations like Dunkin' Donuts, right? They talk about, I think it's called the Power Breakfast wrap, and it's advertised at only 370 calories. This is where I'm telling you, I learned this from OMADA, where you want to point at those phony balonies. I turn around and I'm like, 370 calories, that's not bad. But let me just check on my phone exactly what is the nutritional information on this. And when I went in there and I looked at it, the sodium was 1,070 milligrams in that one sandwich, 370 calories, which is what it advertised, 24 grams of protein, but the sodium was insane. And think about it from this part, where I learned in the program is, what am I going to get out of this sandwich? it's not going to fulfill me for the entire day. That's not all I'm going to eat. This is probably just something in the morning that I'm having, and then probably get hungry 2 hours later because it's not super fulfilling. And then it's like, then your sodium continues to increase and increase and increase. That's where you have to think about changing that mentality and that mind and start looking at the things you're eating. Don't overthink the things you're eating. I know there's a lot of apps out there that really kind of talk about, what's the calorie in this and what's the, and how much goes into here and what did you eat there. I would definitely tell you guys, don't overthink that process. Make it as simple as possible. Think about it like when I did learn in some of the lesson plans in Omada is never go food shopping on an empty stomach. Have your list prepared ahead of time so you don't get distracted by other things that you don't need. Another thing they actually recommended in the program, which I definitely listened to, is go food shopping by yourself so you're not getting easily influenced by others to potentially make the poor choices. Then think about your day, right? Like if you're thinking about what are you eating in between breakfast and lunch, if you get understanding your appetite and your hunger, understanding that, just because your stomach rumbles a bit doesn't mean you got to go get a Big Mac. It could easily turn around and get a handful, not multiple handfuls, a handful of nuts, and that can definitely hold you off until it's time for lunch. Then thinking about like what we do know, right? Like grilled chicken, or baked chicken, skinless chicken, vegetables actually on my plate now. Prior to that, I used to have my family is from Dominican Republic. I grew up in a Spanish household where beans and rice definitely owned the plate, and a lot of that was, beans aren't bad, but a lot of rice, kind of you got to figure these things out. So now vegetables on my plate. I have my protein. I do eat meat, so I have chicken. I eat steak, but I have vegetables on my plate. Some of the consistent meals I have sometimes for lunch is like grilled chicken and avocados. Sometimes I have eggs with avocados. If I'm in the middle of the day and I'm looking for snacking in between lunch and breakfast, I'll probably have an apple or a banana. Just the things about it. Like even thinking that like of your coffee, right? Take a moment to think about, and my challenge to you guys is, and I would love for some feedback on some people reaching out to me, let me know what they think about this, but tell me how much sugar you think you consume a day. How much sugar do you put in your body a day? Even from the simplest thing of an orange juice. An orange juice, a small orange juice, can contain up to about 26 grams of sugar in that one little orange juice. Now think about how much sugar you're consuming throughout the day, how active you may or may not be to be able to burn that so it doesn't hit your waistline. These are the things that like I learned in Omada, and I appreciated these lesson plans because it wasn't about, hey, take this product. This is a great supplement. This is going to help you reach your goal, because that's all temporary, in my personal opinion. I wanted something that's going to help me through my life, for my entire life as a lifestyle, not sitting there turning around and doing something that I'm going to be dependent on that I'm fearful if I'm taking it off, if I get off of it, that I'm going to put the weight back. But also think about the things the amount of things you're eating, right? So don't have a cup of coffee with 5, cups of, creamers, and then put 3 packs of sugar, and then have that multiple times a day. Because then all of that, guess what? Waistline. You want to be able to think about the things you're putting in your body, making smarter choices. And look, Rome wasn't built in a day, so you're not going to go ahead and immediately start eating right from one day to the next. But what you can do is start slowly pay attention to what you're eating. Even the simplest thing is, how do you organize your refrigerator, right? Sometimes the majority of people have the tendency that when they organize their refrigerator, they have a tendency to put the fruits and the vegetables in the drawers, and then they put the quick things that are fast to grab in the front. Now, sometimes, and I will raise my hand and say I had that issue. I'll have that late night craving, if it's late in the evening and I'm up late playing Fortnite or something, or thinking about whatever, or working on Mitch trains and Mitch talks, and I turn around and I go to the refrigerator. I mean, I go searching around for these drawers. So in the past, I would go ahead and say, oh, look, there's a Kit Kat. Hey, great. Oh, there's some bread and some cheese. Let me grab that. And then those are the things, again, that are not the smarter choices. And you want to start focusing on making the smarter choices. I will also say at the same time, understanding some of the things that are really high in sodium, like cheese, understanding that, whole wheat versus flour versus cauliflower, which I will tell you right now, I am a huge fan of cauliflower. I love, love, love cauliflower. For all you pizza lovers out there, I am a big pizza lover as well. I actually I was introduced into cauliflower pizza a couple of months back, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I think it's amazing. It doesn't sit heavy on your stomach. But understanding, like, all the amount of, carbs you're putting in your body, and then how much, and then are you active enough to be able to break a lot of that down. And then there's nothing wrong with vegetables. Like I told you before, the majority of my meals now, the plate is owned by vegetables. So guys, finally, the last bit I would tell you is take a moment and do a moment of reflection on what you're pretty much eating all the time and drinking all the time. If you're a soda drinker, you want to pay attention to that. If you eat a lot of junk food, sometimes our jobs may have vending machines. When's the last time a lot of us saw a lot of healthy options in vending machines? But you want to be able to kind of figure out where can you pick your battles. Don't overthink the whole process. Just figure it out, like, how can I do this? How can I have multiple good meals a day? And I'm not telling you that I don't have a burger sometimes. And I'm not telling you that I don't have a slice of pizza once in a blue. But the majority versus the minority is the most important part in your nutrition and in the fitness journey, is that you want to pay attention to, if you have a slice of pizza once out of like 30 days, that's not the end of the world, because you have so many better days ahead, that have already passed, that one slice of pizza is not going to be the deal breaker. I'm not sitting there crying myself to sleep at night. But what I am doing is making sure that I have better, healthier choices as the majority. And then the poor choices, or I just say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna grab this French fries. I'm gonna eat this plate of fries today, is not the consistent behavior. Finally, guys, wrapping it up, is I just want to tell you is that you really want to pay attention to what is it that you really want to pay attention to, not just rushing into everything all right away. Because I think if you really try to sit there and say you're going to cut everything out immediately, then you're going to realize that you're going to fail quickly. I am a big fan of this program. And then one more thing. Even if you, I did learn this in Omada, and I love this. So for all you guys, everyone who likes to go out there for dinners, celebrations, parties, all that good stuff, pay attention to your journey, and then pay attention to the menu. You do have the option at times to be able to look at the menu prior to getting to the restaurant to find the healthier choice. Go for that if you can. The other thing I would recommend is, when you're at the dinner table, go ahead and order first, not second, not third, not last, because you could be potentially influenced by somebody else's order, which may go ahead and push you into making the wrong decision, the bad decision. I mean, I know it sounds insane, but think about it for a moment. How many of us have sat there and said, yeah, I'm going to go through this, I'm going to eat this salad, I'm going to eat this salad. Oh, wow, that burger sounds really good. I'm going to get that burger instead. This is what I'm talking about. You want to be able to kind of set yourself up for success. If you have any additional questions, or you want to talk some more about this subject, please feel free to reach out to me, send me a note. Yet again, guys, 80-20, 80% eating right, 20% working out, taking the time to educate yourself. Don't get lost in the behind the label and not understanding the labels of the food you buy. Think about the sugar that you're eating and consuming every day. Think about the carbs, that you're putting into your body, and if you active enough to burn it. And then finally, guys, the simplest thing I can tell you: how many calories are you putting into your body, and how many calories are you burning because of your activity level? So if you're burning more than you're putting in, you're gonna lose weight. But if you're putting in a lot more than what you're burning and under your activity level, you're gonna get it to the waistline. All right, guys, this is wrapping it up at the end of episode 5 of Mit's Talks. I thank you guys for joining me this week. I hope you found this episode informative and helpful. Again, if you have any questions about anything nutrition related, again, I could talk to you more about Omada. It's a phenomenal program. I've really stuck by it. I definitely love my scale. I'm still using it every single day. I am going to end up having an episode on the scale, because I know I get a lot of great heated back and forth when it comes down to scales. Thank you guys very much. Have a great night. Mit's Talks 5 is out.